Hey guys, BassGeek here. We're on the lake today and I have no clue how we're going to catch these fish. Alright guys, to be perfectly honest with you, I've got somewhere in the neighborhood of about 13 rods out on my deck right now. These fish could be doing one of 100 different things, eating on 100 different things, so I'm not really sure how we're going to get started today. The water temperature is 76, almost 77, 76.8 to be exact. Now the nights have started cooling down even though we're still in the 90s during the days. The nights are starting to drop into the 60s, mid 60s. It was 64 for a low just last night. So the water temperature has dropped under the 80 mark now, and it's slowly starting to cool off. So that could put these bass in a lot of different areas. I'm hoping actually to see them schooling back up again around those deep haunts. As you've seen in my last video, we talked about the 3 seasons of summer. Well, now as we begin to cool down, as the water temperature begins to drop, they'll begin to group back up in that deep water and start schooling and pushing shad. So everything was telling me they should be deep. The water temperature, nothing breaking on top of the water. Major high pressure moved in, and that'll generally push them deep. So I started graphing deep areas that the creek channel kind of crossed the current horizontally. That creates a current break, and they like to get down in that channel and wait for anything, you know, shad or whatever to kind of come across, and it gives them an ambush spot. So I found 2 nice schools. One you can see here. This was the second school I found, and I tried a little bit of everything and never could get them fired up. Didn't get any video footage of the first school, which was a little bigger, that I found, but that's the school that I actually caught all my bass out of on this day. Now, I will tell you, it was a grind. And when you get into a school like this, you just really have to put your nose down and keep throwing different baits at them until you can figure out what it is they want. I threw swim baits, Alabama rigs, Carolina rigs, crankbaits, and hair jigs. I had a few bites, a couple bites on a swim bait, a bite on a Carolina rig, and I actually had a hold of a bass on a crankbait, on a deep diving crankbait, but it pulled off. So I was managing to get bit, but the bass just would not commit to the baits that I was throwing. And that's when I decided to change to a jig. My first cast, I'm throwing the jig out there and I'm just going to drag it along the bottom, not hop it, just keep in bottom contact. And when I get the jig right to the boat, I start reeling it up, and bam, a really nice fish, the best fish of the day, just slams me as I'm reeling up. And that was all the tip I needed. I knew then that they wanted it hopped or stroked off the bottom, and that's what I did for the rest of the day. Gotta love a snag. I was trying to stroke a jig off the bottom here because the creek channel comes in and it gets really deep. We're in 34 foot of water, but apparently there's some brush right here and I stroked that jig square into it. Plug knocker, guys. Plug knocker. Going to demonstrate this. This is a good time to do it. You want to get straight over your bait. You're going to thread it on one side and you're going to thread it on the other. You're going to pull your line tight and drop it straight down. And there, my friends, comes your bait. So it really was a tough day. We found 2 schools. We couldn't get the second school to fire at all. They wouldn't hit anything. The first school seemed very timid. They would peck at a lot of baits, but we never could really get them to commit until we got to the jig. We kind of discovered the jig bite very late in the day, and by that time it had got real hot. The sun was very high and that bite went away really quickly. We caught our 3rd fish out of a tree that was near the second school. We never could get to fire, so I don't know if it was part of that school or just a fish that was hanging in a tree. So the biggest thing I hope you guys take away from this video is pay attention to what your surroundings and the fish are telling you. So as always, guys, leave your questions or comments in the comment section and talk to me. I really like to interact with you guys and answer your questions or just talk about fishing. So talk to me. I really enjoy it. Like it if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe, and you guys rock.